Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning and welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I am your guest host this morning, Walter Woodrick. I have a good friend of mine who's going to be a special guest today. I'll introduce him in just a few minutes. But this morning I want to start off and give you the weather brought to you by Drew Pollard from Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew, I guess you're getting busy now with things getting a little cooler, and supposedly we got some real cold coming in, so thank you for all that you do. High today, Friday, November the 7th. High today will be 78, a low of 69, so pretty mild weather, but cold is coming in. The water temperature at the pier is 72.5 degrees. A little chilly for a swim, but pretty good maybe for fishing. Your water temperature is brought to you by Maranta Marketing. Thank you, Ariel Payne. Your river readings brought to you by Panama City Coca-Cola Bottling. Apalachicola at Bluntstown is 3.7 feet, and the Choctawhatchee at Caryville, 1.1 feet. Your tides brought to you today by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemeteries. I started to read that and it looked like it said cosmetics. I thought, wow, that doesn't match up. But Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemeteries. Low tide 8:46 a.m. and high tide 9:57 p.m. And then your fishing and game forecast brought to you by Blue Water Outriggers. Down in Port St. Joe where I'm living, it's sure nice to ride by there every morning. There's a lot of people coming in and out of there. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Prime times 12:06 a.m. to 2:06 a.m. and 12:39 p.m. to 2:39 p.m. Your marine forecast, southeast winds around 10 knots, waves 1 to 2 feet. So slight chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Excited to have this show for you this morning. We'll be right back after this break. All right, welcome back to Panhandle Outdoors, Friday, November the 7th, and today I have a very special guest. I am with
Sam Phillips.
What's your name again?
Sam Phillips.
Sam and I have been friends for pretty much ever since I came to Panama City. I came in 1997, and I tell people that we moved here, and we had sold a business and sold a piece of property in Tennessee. And I told a real estate agent that, I want to be in town and I want to be close to her parents, but not too close, right? So she did a full search of all the real estate in Panama City, Bay County, and she said, Walter, I found the ideal piece of property. And I know what you told me, but it's 9 lots. So 9 buildable lots, and it's $63,000. So that tickled my ears, right?
It works.
She said the only catch is it's right across the street from your in-laws. And so it ended up working out perfectly, though. The kids loved it, being right beside them for those years. And so we came, and I met you at church at Lynn Haven Methodist. And sometime about 2005, when I'd finally gotten established a little bit in work, you invited me to go hunting. And I remember you took me up to Sunny Hills and put me in a stand. And you said they'll probably filter out from that hill up there and go right up to that feeder. And about dark, they started coming in, and I kept looking, and I was like, are those dogs? What are those coyotes? What are those? Turns out they were deer. But you've been a big influence for me in hunting and fishing, and I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, when you come from another place, when you look at the deer here, they do appear small.
And when you come from another place, you hunt all over the country, so
right.
But you still love hunting and fishing in Florida.
I do.
Tell me what hunting and fishing mean to you and where that foundation was laid for you.
Well, later in the show, we're going to show some pictures of my uncle, who he was a big influence in my life. When I was a young man, we hunted and fished together and just had a great time.
Yeah.
It was a way away from work. We also worked together for years, and in the end, it was probably 35 or 40 years we worked together.
Wow. And what was the business?
We actually were in the food business. We sold food here in Bay County, restaurants and surrounding areas for probably about 150 miles. And he just was always my friend. He was somebody that I could talk to about any problems I had, and and we shared that friendship our whole life.
Yeah.
You know, even to today. I mean, we still talk almost every day,
Wow.
even though he lives in Texas now. But he originally would wake me up in the mornings, and he taught me an important lesson about not sleeping in, because he would leave you. He would pull up to the house, and if you weren't outside, he'd just leave you.
Really?
And,
how many times did you get left?
I think twice.
Okay.
And, you know, most of it really, the second time it happened whenever I was, you know, started, you know, dating and hanging out with female. And so that would sometimes keep me up a little late at night. But before that, it was just one time, because I didn't want to miss the opportunity to go to a public place to hunt. I mean, we didn't have places like we do now. We didn't plant food plots. We didn't have just, you know, really easy hunting compared to what we did. We just
Right.
went into the woods.
So how old were you when he started you?
I was probably 14.
Okay.
And so we would go to the woods, and you would have to just look for deer trails, sign of where you had seen tracks. You couldn't feed them, you couldn't plant food plots. You just would crawl up in a tree, and it was funny. We always talk about sitting on a 2x6, because that was pretty much our tree stand. Cold, you know, couldn't move a muscle. You know, I sat there for the first 2 years and didn't wiggle, and but it was truly just amazing getting to watch, you know, the woods wake up in the morning. Sometimes we would get in a tree stand an hour before daylight and just sit there and wait, you know, anticipating for the first bird, the first chirp, the first wiggle of anything.
Yeah.
And it just really, you know, was awesome to me to get to enjoy, you know, that time of the morning, just with nobody, just
Right.
you. I mean, you could spend a lot of time, you know, talking to yourself, talking to God, thinking about what you needed to do, or just enjoying everything that was around you, and forgetting work, forgetting the hustle of every day. So it was really,
great.
really nice.
So he got you started, and you got me started. I think every gun I own I bought from you, and so you've kind of helped me in that. I think the bow I have from 2000 and whatever, I think it's a Matthews Switchback, and I think it's a 2005 that I'm shooting right now.
Yeah.
And so you've been a good influence to me. One of the things you really taught me, we have a mutual friend, and the mutual friend likes to borrow stuff, and the mutual friend tends to lose things and break things, and he dropped one of Sam's reels off the boat, and it just disappeared down into the depths of the Gulf. And I said, well, Sam, you gonna let him borrow something in the future? And he said, I sure am. Yep. I said, what are you gonna do? He said, I'm gonna buy another one. If he wants to borrow it, he can. And so I've appreciated that lesson that you taught me of being charitable and being forgiving and being willing to help people. It's been a neat lesson to watch. And he lives it out. I know a lot of you are genuine, loving people who love the Lord and try and do good things for people. And Winston talks about that a lot. Every show he closes with that. But here's a guy who genuinely does it, and he doesn't want me saying this right now, but I just felt like I needed to say that. So, so you went hunting here recently. We're going to talk about that after the next commercial break. What does hunting and fishing do for you today, and what do you think it could do for the youth of today?
It would be wonderful if we could turn all of the phones off from the youth today and take them in the woods where they could spend some time talking to themselves. You just get so inundated with so much garbage that really a child's mind, it doesn't need to filter through. And once that gets into their mind, it's really hard to separate them from it. But it would just be wonderful if you could get them out to help them try to learn who they are. To better help them in life, because so many kids have no idea who they are. They're what they see on Facebook. They're what they think they see on a telephone, and that's just totally makes them miss the whole picture of life.
Whitney and I went hunting on an elk hunt in Colorado when we were doing the show Cast and Call Outdoors, and the guide, his name's Dan Harrison, and he's known in the TV community for being a good host and a great guide. But he said that his goal is to teach young people the value of consequences, and that when you pull a trigger and you pull it correctly, and it's and your gun is sighted in, that something's going to die. Right.
That's huge.
And the youth of today think that, well, if the game's not going well, I can just hit reset or start over, and all the bad stuff goes away and I start fresh. And that's not how life is. We make decisions and mistakes, and we got to deal with the consequences all the time. And like you're saying, they live in a world that, and we can too, live in a world that's just not
it's
real.
Very, very easy to find yourself in that world and missing what really matters in life.
Yeah. Speaking of missing, have you ever missed an animal? Just had the perfect situation and just completely missed?
It happens. I don't care how many times you've done it, how good you think you are, you will miss. It will happen.
Well, I certainly have encountered that a time or two too. Let's take our next commercial break here, and we'll be right back, and we'll look at some pictures with Sam Phillips on his elk hunt in New Mexico. All right, welcome back. I hope you're doing well this morning, getting ready for work or play or whatever you're doing. You may be watching on YouTube, scattered across the country or the world. Thank you for your viewership. Winston has really been a big influence in my life, and the example he sets in character, the example he sets in loving people, and trying to encourage people he bumps into. So I'm excited to host this morning. And again, I'm with Sam Phillips, longtime friend of mine. And so now we get to talk about an elk hunt that Sam went on. And so I'm going to try and use this fancy technology here. And we're linked into Facebook. And so, Sam, turn right there to that camera, right to that screen right there, and tell me what you see.
Well, this was a picture at the very end of the hunt that had a picture of my uncle. I think you can pick out who he is. His two sons I guess it's his two sons. He always called me his oldest son, so that is my uncle and his three boys on the hunt of a lifetime in Las Vegas, New Mexico. And
those his hunting shoes there to the left with the flip-flops?
Well, we changed him out on the shoes. I guess that's Davey. He didn't really hunt. He just kind of was a cheerleader like I was on the trip. And then one of the days after we finished hunting, we had a very successful hunt. I mean, we hunted for 2 days and we killed 4 elk.
2 days, 4 elk. So David, his two sons, plus you, so 4 hunters, all of you killed an elk.
Killed an elk in 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was the best I've ever been on as far as a lot of animals.
And it was rifle.
It was rifle.
Okay.
And then so one of the next pictures, of course, that's a picture right off the back porch, and then this
the dark picture there is off the back porch.
Yes, that's the sun rising in the little opening off the hill, and then we went to the Rio Grande Gorge, which is in Teos, New Mexico, and we took a few pictures. It was pretty amazing. It's a small version of the Grand Canyon, and walked around there a little bit, and then that's a picture off the back of the camp. And then the one under that is some of the higher mountains that actually had some snow on it.
What altitude are you at right here in this rocky picture?
Well, we're probably at 7 there, and then those higher mountains with a little snow on it is 11,000 feet, I think.
And how did you know to go to this area? And I guess you went with an outfitter. How did you?
Yes, I actually went turkey hunting with this gentleman. He manages 2 or 3 ranches for people, and that was in South Florida. We went Osceola hunting down there, and they always have repeat hunters, so they don't really have many people new that get to come there until people die, because it's just such a special place. It's a big ranch, and being in this food business, I always like to cook too, so that's one of the meals that I prepared that night with grouper, shrimp, Brussels sprouts, and some slaw.
So you took the grouper with you out there?
Yeah, I took the grouper and the shrimp.
Okay.
And then that was the 2 elk that my uncle and his son killed, and it just really worked out perfect.
Wow.
Those animals were killed within 5 minutes of one another, and it was just a special time. You can see the happy look on my uncle. Well, really, it's a pretty happy look on everybody's face, because
how old is David there? And David's wearing the kind of the fedora hat there.
Yeah, David is 76 years old. He's battled, cancer back and forth, but he was in good enough shape to go. He's doing well, but
Is he still reload? I know he's a super gun fanatic, knows guns, knows ammo, knows trajectories. And
he was happy with the 7mm PRC that we used out there, and he said, "You need to get me some dice, so when I come back to Florida, I can load you some bullets." So he has all of the reloading equipment set up, in a trailer.
So it looks like I see a blood spot there on the left elk where David is, and so that's a pretty good shot.
That was a perfect shot. Went through both the lungs, and he ran about 10 steps and fell over. And
what distance was his shot?
His shot was 300 yards, a little over 300 yards. And Matthew on the right, his was 500 yards. So there is some pretty long shots, but as long as you have your gun sighted in, it's not an issue to kill him at that distance.
Tell me about sighting in for that and holdover real quick.
Well, in this particular case, most of the calibers that we use that shoot at 3,000 feet per second, will drop. If you zero it in at 200 yards, it'll drop 5 or 6 inches at 300, 18 inches at 400.
18 inches at 400. So you basically aim at the top of the back there?
If you don't have a turret,
right.
That's correct. We did not have a turret on this particular rifle we were using, but a turret actually is what raises from 2, 3, 4, 5, 600. So I had my gun zeroed in out to 600 yards. So you just move the turret and you hold it dead on the animal instead of having to try to adjust for the distance. Makes it easier.
Great. Well, let's take our next break here, and we'll be back and finish up talking with Sam about his elk hunt in New Mexico. Is that right?
Las Vegas, New Mexico.
Las Vegas, New Mexico.
People say there's not a Las Vegas, New Mexico. I said, I promise you there is.
We'll be right back.
All right.
All right, welcome back to our final segment here on Panhandle Outdoors. Again with Sam Phillips, a longtime friend of mine. Well, we just finished talking about his elk hunt in Las Vegas, New Mexico, but now I'm going to ask you, Sam, to help kind of give me boots on the ground, or how you would approach a piece of property that Mason and I are going to go hunt this following week in northern Missouri. And I say northern Missouri, it is right on the Iowa line. And so I'm going to show you this Onyx map of the property, and I'd like for you to just kind of give me your overall thoughts of how that might set up, and because you've hunted really all over the country.
Multiple places.
Yeah,
sure.
and you've hunted deer, elk, mule deer, turkey.
Whitetail.
Yeah. So this is in northern Missouri. Mason and I will hunt Saturday all the way through Thursday unless we kill something early. We have to shoot something 130 or above. If we shoot something below 130, it's a $1,000 fine. And we have this 800-acre piece of property. And so the outfitter said that Mason and I will hunt this with 2 other hunters. The 2 other hunters are currently hunting in Oklahoma, and they said they're not leaving there until they kill the big buck that they have seen on camera and trying to get it. So I don't know if they'll show up or not. We have a cold front coming in Saturday. It's going to be rainy, and the temp's going to go from 60s down to 30s. Our first full day in the stand will be Sunday. Winds are going to be 25 miles an hour. It's going to be 35 for a high and 19 for a low. And then Monday is going to be a beautiful day, 30s for a high. Wind not as bad. So weather seems to be set up nice to kick off the rut.
Right.
So here's the piece of property. So you see agricultural fields, and the red lines around it might be kind of hard to see there. But the outfitter set it up as these agricultural fields are the only food for miles. And so tell me about morning hunt, where you would prefer to position in a morning hunt and then afternoon hunt.
Well, with a windy day, it's always going to be tough, but anytime the temperature drops 10 degrees, animals move. I don't know what it is within their system that makes them do that, but over my past history of hunting, anytime that the weather dropped, you'll see deer activity that you did not see prior to that.
Okay.
On open fields like that, you really can get yourself in a position when you first get there to do a little glassing to see what you see coming filtering out of the woods, to kind of know where they're at without getting in there and getting your scent everywhere.
Right. Tell me real quick your scent policy, as far as what you wear, spray, all that.
Well, people have a lot of different things out now. I mean, they had dead downwind, they have Onyx, they have things that are supposed to kill a scent, but in my opinion, if a deer, is paying attention, he's going to smell you no matter what you do. But there are cases I have had people say that does help. For me, staying downwind from where the deer are coming in is key, and and not getting in there and getting your scent everywhere. If you get it all over the property, you're going to shut deer movement down. So it's always best to kind of see where they're coming in and out, focus downwind. Early in the mornings, if it's really cold, your scent pulls up, so you can get away with getting in places that you can't get in the afternoon.
Right.
If it's calm.
Yep.
Because just, your scent rises in the morning, and if it's freezing, you can get in places and your scent's going straight up.
David years ago told me that he prefers to go into the woods. He doesn't start going in until he hears the first birds chirp.
Right.
And he wants to walk in when the woods are already waking up, so that there's not dead quiet and every step he takes is echoing through the woods.
That is one thing that we learned from getting in the stands an hour before daylight. A lot of times you would get there, you couldn't see anything, but deer see very well at night. So they were watching everything you did, and a lot of times you would have deer below and run off. They had already smelt you, passing right under you because it was before daylight. But if you do take advantage of the noise in the morning first thing, and if you ever just sit there and listen, it goes from nothing to all kind of noise, and then you can get away with sneaking into locations.
So early on you in it, so that's what a hunter yesterday told me. He said he gets in the stand an hour early, lets everything die back down, but you guys have a different theory.
That was my approach. Because the times I got in there, I can't see till daylight.
Right.
So you getting in there, if the wind's moving and shifting, you've got your scent in there an hour early, and if the wind's moved from one way to the next, or you do any movement because it's dark, you'll sit there and you'll think, well, I can move, I can't see anything, nothing can see me, but they see everything you're doing.
Yeah.
So you have a tendency to move a little bit more.
So with elevation, you would hunt high in the morning and low in the evening?
I would stay downwind of wherever you're at.
So wind
and
direction
try to glass
over elevation.
You won't, elevation doesn't really matter. I would naturally just try to get to where you can glass and you can see what's going on without getting in there.
Hey, we're thankful Sam Phillips came with us today. The show has flown by. Do something good for somebody today. God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.